Okay, so we're gonna go over the 10 best brawlers in the game. This is based on Power League, so if you wanna see more Power League content, definitely check out my second channel. But yeah, let's go. Okay, before we talk about top 10, I would like to mention that Maisie might be in top 10, but we just don't know how actually good Maisie is right now, so it might take some time. But Maisie is definitely really close to top 10, if not. So also one of the best brawlers to push right now. Okay, so for top 10 we have Ruff. So Ruff is still a very decent brawler. You can pretty much use Ruff in any map, any mode, because he has a really strong star power and the gadget. So for star power, you can use the healing star power in any open map, and you can just stay with the teammate and just get so much HP. Or in any close map, you can use the wall break and just break all the walls and get the power-ups. Ruff is pretty easy brawler, to be honest. He also has a really decent gadget that can like block the shot, also like use the rocket thingy to push them back. So in Power League, he's a really good first pick because it kind of prevents the other team to pick any tanky brawler. Especially in Heist, if you first pick Ruff and if they pick like tank, you can get the power up so much easier, so your teammate will get all the power up and deal more damage. So it's kind of risky to pick, you know, tanky brawler against the Ruff. So yeah, I don't know what the super was, but GG. Okay, so for top 9 we have B. It's kind of true that B kind of fell off because of the damage nerf, but I think B still deserves to be in top 10. He used to be like best brawler, but now he's still top 10 in my opinion, just because he's a really good tank counter. B is a really high skill cap brawler if you don't have a good matchup, but if you have a really good matchup, honestly B is kind of free. I think some people might not put B in top 10. Yeah, obviously there are so many counters now, like Gauss, Mr. P, those are all the good counter to B. B kind of fell off, but I think B is still really solid first pick in any like open map. B is really good in my opinion. You can just do well, like, but you gotta hit a lot of shots now because obviously they nerfed the damage. Okay, so for top 8 we have Gray. So Gray is the only reason why I didn't put the throwers on top 10. Gray just counters the throwers so hard with the super. You can just TP and get the super back and get a free kill. And he has a really decent gadget that can like break the walls and pull the enemies. So yeah, obviously there's some counters to Gray. He's not like the best brawler right now, but recently his star power got buffed. You get like 50% shield at full HP, and he works with the shield gear. So yeah, really solid brawler in my opinion. You can just run away with the super like this and get a kill, and you can just TP back and try to get a kill on like Piper here. But he ran away, unfortunately. But Gray is the brawler that can like do so many crazy things. Like it's really hard for enemies to like predict what the Gray is gonna do, because you can just do so many crazy things with the super, and we can get a kill here with the double TP and maybe get a kill on Edgar. I don't know why he's playing Edgar here, but good for us. But yeah, gonna TP again. He's gonna run away, but we can get a kill on Piper. Okay, so for top 7 we have RT. So in order to be in top 10, those brawlers should be good as a first pick. And usually the first pick, you need to pick a brawler that can counter any like aggressive brawler, any tanky brawler. So RT is one of them. RT can deal so much damage on any like low HP snipers. He's a really good counter to tank. And I don't know, he's just so good. You can use this super and deal so much damage. RT is probably the best brawler in knockout because you can like 2-tap brawlers like Piper, Brock, you know, B. Obviously there are some ways to counter RT, but I think RT in 3v3 is really solid brawler. Brawlers like Shelly can counter RT, so I need to watch out. Our Brock might go down. Oh wait, that was not a good super, so you need to know when to use the super, because you can die pretty easily. But Terra kinda messed up there, so we got the super back, and now we can easily get a kill on Brock. Like it's kinda crazy you can 2-tap Brock, because you can just 2-tap and use the gadget to finish the up. So yeah, GG. Okay, so for top 6 we have Crow. So Crow is still very underrated in my opinion. Like obviously there are some ways to counter Crow, but the only way to like counter Crow is like playing passive and try to outrange. So if you just first pick Crow, the other team has to pick kind of like long range brawlers. They can like kill Crow from the long range, you know what I mean? You can't really pick any mid range or any tanky brawler if the other team is a first pick Crow. But obviously if you're really smart and if you're really good at Brawl Stars, you can kind of like bait the gadget and waste his like gadget in the super. But if you're not good at the game, it's kind of hard to like how to waste his gadget in the super. It's pretty hard even for good players. Like you can just hit one shot and slow down for like 3 seconds. I don't know why they made this brawler, to be honest. But it's kind of fun to play though. It used to be a lot more fun, but after they released the slow gadget, it's just kind of boring to play. I mean boring to face, because you can't like get into their range, you know? But yeah, Crow is still really underrated. I think it's like top 5, top 6 in my opinion. Okay, so for top 5 we have Squeak. Squeak used to be like decent, but never been like top 10, just because he has a very obvious weakness, which is like he can get ran down by any aggressive high HP brawlers. But now his star power got huge damage buff. You can deal 1900 per shot, so it's a lot harder for the enemies to like run down against the Squeak, because now you can deal so much damage. And that's why the brawlers like Penny are not top 10 anymore, because they get hard counter by Squeak. Squeak can just spam the attack and get rid of the turret. But look at how much he can deal on the enemies. You can basically 2-shot almost every like low HP brawlers, which is crazy. And you also have a really strong gadget and the super, so Squeak is no longer like passive brawlers. You can go aggressive and deal so much damage. I kinda do like playing Squeak recently. It used to be kinda boring to play, but now you can just deal so much damage and can kill almost any brawler. Personally, I don't like Squeak being in the meta because, I don't know, it's just kinda annoying to face at the same time. If you are a Squeak player, then you will definitely love this buff. He can deal so much more damage. But yeah, our teammate is not helping us. But this is the time you can push Squeak pretty easily. Like he's really solid brawler. So Mr. P also has a very obvious weakness. He can get countered by like aggressive brawlers such as Carl, or just any like high HP brawlers. You can just go up, tank all the shot and get a kill. So it's kind of like same type of brawler as Squeak. You just gotta play passive. I mean, obviously Squeak is kind of different. Now you can kind of play aggressive because you can deal more damage, but you have to kind of play passive until you get a super. But once you get a super, you can pretty much win any like single projectile brawler, like any like sniper, you know, and any mid-range brawler you can do a decent job. And like I said, there are some counters to Mr. P, but that's not how Power League works. You can just pick one brawler that can counter those like aggressive brawlers, then you have a perfect comp. So you can't let the other team to pick like Mr. P and Shelly at the same time. It's gonna be almost impossible to counter. So yeah, that's how the Power League meta works right now. You have to pick really good control brawlers like Mr. P and pick one like tank counter, then you have a perfect comp. Obviously there are more things you need to consider, but we're not pro players, so that's basically how it works. Mr. P really solid brawler, especially in Power League, he's really good. So the best thing about Gauss is that when you play Power League, you don't even need to like see the map, and you can just first pick Gauss anywhere. That's why Gauss deserves to be like in top 5 at least. He's a really good long range brawler. He can like support your teammate with the shield, and he can use the gadget to push the enemies back. So basically Gauss can do everything. Obviously Gauss is not the easiest brawler to play, but I think Gauss is pretty easy to like aim at least. But you have to aim the super. If you miss the super, it can cost the game, so obviously not the easiest brawler to play. And also you need to know when to use the gadget, because sometimes you play very aggressive brawlers, so you need to like wait for them to like go up. But still, if you just can play well as Gauss, you can basically play just anywhere. You don't need to look at the map. The second best brawler right now is Cordelius. So I had to invite Frixie because my Cordelius is at 0 trophies and Frixie has like 900 trophies on Brock. So at least we're facing who has like positive IQ, I would say. But I think we can score here. But yeah, Cordelius is really broken and really easy to play. except when you use the super, because you can mess up the super pretty easily. For example, you're facing Terra and you use the super on Terra, and Terra can just run away and go to the other side, and he can just kill your teammate once the super is gone. So it's really important to know when to use the super, but except that, if you know how to do that, it's really broken brawler. Okay, so the best brawler right now is Shelly. So when the other team has a first pick, you have to ban this brawler because you can't pick any like tanky brawlers, any like, I don't know, any like aggressive brawlers such as Carl. And this brawler got a huge buff, which is a movement speed buff. So now you can like dodge so many shots, there's just no counter. I mean, there's a way to counter Shelly, but there's just no way you can win against the Shelly when you're playing like tanky brawlers or any like, you know, aggressive brawlers. And what happens after that is basically now the enemy team can pick very high risk, high reward brawlers. Even if you pick Carl or someone like that, they can't pick like tanky brawlers to counter Carl because you have a Shelly as a first pick. You have to prevent them picking Shelly because you basically lose the draft if you let them first pick Shelly. I mean, obviously there are more things to consider maybe, but if you're not pro player, if you're just playing Power League until Masters, like banning Shelly is the best idea because it's gonna be just so annoying. This brawler is just so broken, so yeah, make sure to ban this brawler. I never thought that this brawler is gonna be the best brawler again, because Shelly was the best brawler like 3 years ago, and now they buff her speed, so yeah, definitely push Shelly right now.